Hello, I'm back here to show you a way to create a 3D view of your cortical bone and your trabecular bone in a separate way. You can show them separately, and you can also put them together and separate them in the view. You can create a video and you can crop them separately and together. It's up to you. So I stopped here in the last video with the cortical bone, showing only the cortical bone that was segmented. And from this point, I'm going to save the cortical bone, only the image inside the ROI. And I don't want to have it monochrome. And this one is going to be my cortical. And I want also to save separately the region inside the cortical, the bone marrow. For this, I will go back to my task list and run it again, because I would have a lot of work if I want to do it manually. This task list was the one I created in the previous video. Okay. There we are. We are not with the trabecular region yet, but what we can do here is, let me see where I stopped. So I don't remember really what was the last one. So it was erosion. So okay, then I can just copy the region of interest to be this. Okay, bitwise operation. We make a copy. The region of interest to be this one. Okay, now the region of interest is exactly the image, and I can reload my image, and then I have inside the region of interest the image inside the region of interest to be only my trabecular region. Now I can save bitmap. I can make it trabecular or trabecular for the region. Okay, this is set, and now I can open on the 3D view software, that is the CTVox. Okay. Okay, here we are. We have the cortical bone. This is your cortical bone. It looks very good. And I will include here the trabecular bone. Just go to add. And there you are. Of course, this one is included with the bone marrow, so it is not so easy to visualize. You need to decrease the opacity a little bit on the lower part so that you can remove the soft tissue. This is what you have. You can play with the colors. This one, it's okay to be a bit grayish, and this one you can choose if you want to have some very different color. It's up to you. Now I'm back here. I've changed some settings in the software. I've changed the background. You can come in this option here and choose the background you want to have, the color you want to have. You can have different things like image or a cube. You just choose the color that you feel it's better for your visualization. For those who are not familiar with the CTVox, I can just give you some tips. For translating the image, you hold with the left button of your mouse. If you want to rotate, you right click and drag. You can also crop through the image, so you see the faces of the cube here. They are very easily seen. You can see this face here, it belongs to this side. So if I hold shift and drag with the left button of my mouse, I will crop my image. So you can stop anywhere and still right click and rotate. You see, it's very easy to do it. It's just a matter of getting used to it. So hold shift and left button. If you hold shift and right click, nothing happens. But if you hold control, you will move the box with the left click. So it's better not to do it because I'm going to move away from my center. But if you move the box like I did now, you're going to crop your sample like this. Okay, right click, rotate, position. So I can do it for holding shift and left button. I can crop in any direction I want. I can keep it like this, rotate, and so on. If you scroll, you can zoom in and out. If you want to include the scale bar, in this software you don't have a scale bar, you just see these dots here, these dashes here that are shown in the frame, and that's the only way. And then you have the distance between each of the dash. It is going to be, in this case, 10 millimeters. I think this one is not calibrated, so this one depends on the image that comes from the software with the log file. And in this case here, this image here actually was changed in another software, so it didn't keep the log file, and that's why I cannot have this information. But if you have the image coming from the software, from a Bruker scanner, you will be able to get the right information. So nothing I can change here. Okay, but anyway, you can position this wherever you want, or you can just get rid of this. You can save your image. The view you have here, you can save. Another thing you can do is you can create lights for your sample, like shadows. You can increase, you can decrease, you can make no shadow. You can choose the distance of the light. This option is not available because I'm using 2 datasets, probably. So that's not the case here. I'm not going to use any of this. Okay, clipping box. I can remove the clipping box. If you want to take a snapshot, you just remove it if it's not what you want. But if you want to crop the image, you need to have the clipping box in place. And another interesting feature is the cutting or clipping shape. So if you activate this, you are going to see another clipping box, and this clipping box is actually to clip or cut your sample. Here you have an option with no cutting or clipping, and if I choose for cutting, this image is going to be cut out. From this part of the image is going to be cut out, and I will be able to see inside. So that's how it works, like this. The difference when you have 2 datasets loaded together, it is going to clip just the one is highlighted here. So in this case, the first one here, I can add it here. This one is a cortical, as the names are the same. And this one is trabecular. and you see here that it's cropping there. And how can I position this box? If I hold the button of the mouse, it is going to either translate the left one or the right one is going to rotate. And it never happens to this one unless you hold Alt. So when you hold Alt, everything happens to the box. So you can reposition the box with the left button of the mouse. If you right click, you can rotate, and also the same thing that you can do with the main box, the main frame, you can also do with this one as long as you hold Alt. So if I hold Alt and Shift at the same time and hold with the left button one of the faces, I can drag the face and change the size in any position. So I released now, and I'm using just the mouse. If I want to crop the other one, I just do like this. I go for the trabecular now, and then I come here. Now it's no cutting because it's applying to this one, and if I cut, it is going to cut this away. Okay, but I think it's more interesting to do like this. And the clipping is the opposite. The clipping is going to keep only the selected region. In this case here is just, this is not being considered, but this one, the cortical bone, because it's applying to this one here, it is the one used. So play around with this, get used to this, because it gives you a lot of nice things. One important thing is, I will show you now how to create a video from this. And when you create a video, there is an option where if you want to keep the frame or not in the video. So for creating the video, you have this option here, the flight recorder. Open this one, you can position it somewhere, like let's put it here. One important thing is, I'm going to change this later. But the first thing you might want to do is position your sample wherever you want to start and add a frame in this position. The first frame is going to be the position you have your object now. And from this point, I can do any movement, any cropping, any change, and add another frame. For example, I would just rotate a little bit like this and add another frame. I will keep on, oops, not the left button, it happens, I'm used to another software. Keep rotating, try to be very smooth, not to make very long movement. And now I'm going to zoom in 1, 2 times and a little bit more. And I will, in the next frame, I will rotate a little bit and zoom at the same time. You will see the result. Keep on doing this. Okay. Let's do another thing now. I can, for example, now zoom out. I will be a little bit faster. You can make more details in your video. I'm not going to take so much time here. Keep on doing this. And you can, for example, do like this and add another frame like this. And then you come back. Remember that every frame you add here is going to be in your video. You can also, for example, let's use this box here now. Let's position it more or less here. I should have prepared this first. And okay, let's, oops, I changed here. Probably it's going to have some movement in the video. Sorry for this. Let's start from somewhere. It is difficult to position this if I don't do like this. I have to do it. Okay. Okay, let's check where the sample stopped, and then it comes back to the same position. And I will, now that I know, I will move this all the way down and include for the cortical, I will include the cutting, and I will move this one a bit up and add. I could have started from the top, but this is just improvising. Rotate and crop at the same time, and zoom. And you can also, for example, move this box. Okay, let's check what happened so far. I can increase the interpolation frame, because if I keep like 2, it's going to be 2 frames for each added frame I have added here. So I'll make it a bit larger, just for us to check what's happening now. 25, and play it. The movement of the frame that you saw is not going to appear as long as you hide this option here, hide clipping box and hide when I create the video. So of course this is not the nicest video, but I will save the video just so that you see what happens. I'll keep it here. You have this option for video. I usually use the MicroCT video, not 100%, but somewhere here, even though it's going to be a very large file. And if you keep this one here, it's a huge file. Now it's creating the frames and the video. Okay, it's finished. It tries to run, but my player doesn't run this kind of video. Okay, we can check it later. I will put the video in the end. Another important thing that you can use here is this option, movement, and you come to numeric, and you have this here. This will help you make nice movements and smooth movements. Like in this option here, for example, if I create a frame, let's reset everything here. I don't want to continue from there. I will add the first frame. And here you can select the step. You can make whatever you want. And also here the translation and the rotation. And if I rotate here, you see this is 45 degrees. I can rotate and add a frame. Rotate, let's put it here, and add a frame. Rotate, always the same direction, until I get to the original position, because if it's a multiple of 360, I will end up in the 90th, like here, in the same position. So see what happens. It is much smoother because it's not influenced by your movements, your hands. Of course, you can also zoom in like 3 times and add a frame. 1, 2, 3, add frame. You can use the clipping box. In this case, the clipping box is this big one here, the purple one. And if I do it, I can select which face. It's based on numbers. So I found here it's highlighting. You can see that when I put the mouse here, the cursor here, it highlights, and then I make it 1, 2. Okay, it's very slow, so let's make it 10, and then add again, and then 10 again, add again, 10, add, and then I come back in the same amount. See how it's much smoother than when I make it with my hands. Always the same speed. So this is quite good. Try it out. So I'm not going to save another video here. You can have annotations. So the legend here, it will show the color, and the cortical is the white one, the trabecular. It is always based on what is here. You can add labels. You can add color bar if you're playing, if you're working with an object that depends on the color, the thickness, for example, or the spacing. Okay, basically this is it. You also, if you have a 3D glass, you can have this option. It blurs for our eyes, but if you have the glasses on, the stereo glasses, or the one you use, for example, in those cinemas for the 3D movies, you can feel a nice difference. It looks like it's a 3D real image. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you very much.